Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Ministry of Manpower calls on more than 2,000 job seekers to attend employment interviews and examinations. Due to delay in regular road maintenance, students in Jebel al-Abyad in the Wilaya of Dima wa Ta'in are unable to reach school. And after nearly 2 weeks of calm, violence breaks out in and around eastern Ghouta, killing at least 2 people. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Ministry of Manpower called on more than 2,050 job seekers to attend employment interviews and examination, which will be conducted during the week, so as to compete on job opportunities available in the private sector establishments in various governorates of the Sultanate. The ministry also announced last week on providing job opportunities for more than 21,000 job seekers, the majority of which were in the construction sector. It also issued a decision on specifying the percentage of national manpower in insurance field. The percentage was gradually increased to 70 in the current year, as it's expected to reach 75 in 2020. Meanwhile, the percentage of manpower in higher administration professions is expected to increase from 40 to 50 in 2020. School bus drivers suspended their work in Maqta village and its surrounding areas in Jebel al-Abyad in the Wilaya of Dima wa Ta'in due to the rough terrains and delay in regular road maintenance. Therefore, students suffered from fatigue and underachievement in school due to large travel distance from and to their schools. The officials are working on a number of solutions to this ongoing issue, such as building a new school in Salil and coordinating with the concerned authorities to provide periodic road maintenance and expedite the procedures to build a new school. A recognition of nurses and birth attendants' role in enhancing and promoting nursing services, the Medical Services for the Armed Forces organized a medical conference on birth attendants under the title Providing Care to Pregnant Women and Newborns with Professionalism and Compassion. The conference highlighted the legal role of birth attendants in providing care to mothers during pregnancy and birth using up-to-date methods adopted in countries advanced in this field. The conference also focused on raising awareness of the society on the responsibilities of the birth attendants in promoting women and child health care as per the international health standards. Coinciding with the World Autism Day, which falls on the 2nd of April each year, the Oman Autism Society organized a walkathon in Al Quram National Park in the Governorate of Muscat. The event aimed to raise awareness of autism spectrum disorder among the members of the society, as well as to give the chance for autistic children to be involved in the community. It included entertainment shows for the children and exhibitions that shed light on types of autism, as well as ways of dealing with it. The Parent-Teacher Council in the Wilaya of Liwa honors a number of outstanding students in school under the auspices of the Minister of Education, Her Excellency Dr. Madiha bint Ahmed Shaybaniya. This annual ceremony is organized every year by the Parent-Teacher Council and Al Wafa Social Center to recognize and encourage students to further their educational achievements and performance. Activities of Khadal Heritage Festival were launched in the Wilaya of Ibri in the Governorate of Al-Dhahira. The event witnessed a wide participation from camel horse owners as well as those interested in the Omani heritage. It included camel races where the jockeys showed some remarkable skills. During the festival, national poems in addition to some Omani dancing arts were also presented. The participants expressed that such events play a great role in preserving the Omani heritage and acquainting the youth to the traditions of the forefathers. Still to come on our news bulletin. The co-founder of the prestigious Japanese animator studio Ghibli that stuck to a hand-drawn manga dies at 82. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Violence broke out and in around the rebel-held town near the capital Damascus, killing at least 2 people after nearly 2 weeks of calm. It signaled an apparent collapse of the truce and an evacuation deal for opposition fighters to leave the area. Meanwhile, several airstrikes hit Douma after members of the Army of Islam rebel group shelled government-held areas nearby, inflicting casualties. The violence came after nearly 2 weeks of calm in the last rebel-held town in the area known as Eastern Ghouta, after the Russians have agreed with the Army of Islam to evacuate the area toward rebel-held regions north of the country. There have been reports that the Army of Islam wants to negotiate a new deal, complaining of mistreatment by Turkish troops in northern Syria. Israeli troops killed at least 6 men in the second mass protest in as many weeks along Gaza's volatile border. Yesterday's deaths brought to 28 the number of Palestinians killed by Israeli fire over the past week, including 22 protesters. Gaza's health ministry said 1,070 people were wounded yesterday, including 293 by live fire. 25 of those wounded were in serious conditions. Among those hurt were 12 women and 48 minors. Yesterday's march was the second in what Gaza's Hamas said would be several weeks of protests against a decade-old border blockade of the territory. Israel has accused the humans of using the protests as a cover for attacking Israel's border and has warned that those approaching the fences will put their lives at risk. Kuwait yesterday called on the UN Secretary Council to back an independent inquiry on Israeli-Palestinian clashes, a week after a failed attempt to do the same thing. Kuwait's UN Ambassador Mansour al-Utaibi said it's a matter of Security Council should address this issue. The text brought by Kuwait, a non-permanent member of the Security Council, is the same as the one submitted earlier, which was blocked by Washington.
These peaceful demonstrators posed no threat.
India pledged today to upgrade road and cross-border rail links with Nepal and develop inland waterways to provide sea connectivity to the landlocked Himalayan nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India would also help Nepal in the field of agriculture through organic farming, soil testing, and education in farming. Modi also said both sides would like to jointly start a new rail link connecting Kathmandu, Nepal's capital, with India. Parasad Oli, who recently took over Nepal's prime minister, is on a 3-day visit to India. He promised to build a strong edifice of trust with his much larger neighbor. India's main worry is that Nepal may now lean more towards China as Oli heads a government of communist parties. But India surrounds Nepal on 3 sides and provides oil and other goods to the country. Two-way trade between India and Nepal stood at $4.8 billion in 2015-2016.
A very crucial transitional phase after a conflict.
The cab of an 18-wheeler tractor-trailer was left dangling from an overpass after a fiery collision that killed the driver on an interstate near downtown Dallas. The Dallas County Sheriff's Department said that a sport utility vehicle fishtailed and hit a guardrail before swerving across all lanes of traffic and colliding with the tractor-trailer yesterday on Interstate 30. The cab's charred remains were left hanging from a highway guardrail. Authorities say the tractor-trailer driver was a 46-year-old Russell Carpenter of Detroit, Dallas. He was pronounced dead at a hospital. A third vehicle was also involved in the crash. The driver of that vehicle and the sport utility vehicle were both taken to the hospital, where they were in a stable condition. Thousands of tourists are flocking to the tidal basin in Washington to catch a glimpse of a cherry blossom trees in their full glory. The National Park Service says the trees reached peak on Thursday, which means 70% of Yoshino cherry tree blossoms are open. The experts say the best viewing of the trees will likely last 4 to 7 days. The cherry blossoms are a popular tourist attraction for locals and visitors alike. The Park Service said bloom can remain on trees for up to 2 weeks, depending on the weather conditions. Isao Takahata, co-founder of the prestigious Japanese animator studio Ghibli that stuck to a hand-drawn manga look in the face of digital filmmaking, has died at 82. Takahata started Ghibli with Oscar-winning animator Hayao Miyazaki in 1985, hoping to create Japan's Disney and helped shape the style and voice of what became one of the world's most respected animation studios, as well as the nation's prized cultural export. He directed the film Grave of the Fireflies, narrating a tragic tale about wartime childhood, and produced some of the studio's films. Takahata died on Thursday of lung cancer at a Tokyo hospital. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning over the governorates of South Sharqiya, Dhufar, and Wusta. Winds will be south to southwesterly, light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1 meter. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of Manpower calls on more than 2,000 job seekers to attend employment interviews and examinations. Due to delay in regular road maintenance, students in Jabal al-Abyad in the Wilaya of Zima wa Ta'in are unable to reach school. And after nearly 2 weeks of calm, violence breaks out in and around eastern Ghouta, killing at least 2 people. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, thank you for watching and good night.